Welcome back, traders. Today we've got a couple pieces of news to talk about, and we'll make this pretty quick, actually. So, if you've noticed yesterday, we had a pretty massive run on basically everything, but the SPY did a really good move yesterday, especially in the afternoon. You can see all my. All right, I've got the chart set up the way I wanted it originally. You can see here we started here on Monday. We did initially a little dip down until about 7 a.m., 7, 8 a.m. West Coast time. Then we just started grinding up, and then we got some really good news catalysts that drove us much, much higher, and it's continuing to do so. And that was this news right here. The Treasury cut its quarterly borrowing estimate to 760 billion. Before that, it was up in the 800s in terms of billion for borrowing for the Treasury. So this was very bullish news. The government's going to need to borrow a little bit less money, putting itself in less debt than anticipated. We're also expecting, the Treasurer is also predicting 200 billion net borrowing next quarter, and that's because that's usually the quarter they collect a lot of taxes. Um, Starting in April, right at the beginning of the quarter. Okay, I can't read the whole article since it's Bloomberg, but that's what drove us up in the afternoon yesterday, and that's pretty exciting. And that made all the risk-on assets like Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners go off pretty dramatically. You can see here, yeah, we had this big old move up. I mean, we also came back down, and then Bitcoin has been honestly taking off for a while now. I don't want to be on the 30-minute Bitcoin. I want to be on like at least the 2-hour minimum. Yeah. So on Monday for Bitcoin, it's just been moving up, coming down a little bit here, but once we break out of this channel here, once we're out of this to the upside, we could see ourselves come back up to that 44,000, which I believe was the top of the Gaussian channel. If we put that on here, let me take a look. Get rid of the bold. All right, let's put on the Gaussian channel. I believe that's the top of it. This is the 2-hour. Let's go to the 1 day. Yeah, so that would take us right up here to the top of the Gaussian channel, which it looks like we're trying to make a move for here, where we'll probably find some resistance, which also coincides with this upward trend line, this upward channel I've got here, ascending channel. And we might see ourselves reject off of it, but we might also see ourselves find resistance here for a bit and then eventually break on through to the upside on that. The other thing is tomorrow we have the FOMC meeting where the Fed will tell us that nothing has changed, but the market will go crazy for some reason. It really will depend heavily on how Jerome Powell is speaking, his tone of voice, the words he chooses to use while speaking to the press. That'll have a huge effect on which direction and how fast the market moves. It tends to move the market dramatically, even if absolutely nothing happens and absolutely nothing has changed. As soon as Jerome Powell starts talking, the market just starts whipping around in all sorts of directions. It's a great day to make money if you're trading. It's also a great day to lose money, if you don't know what you're doing. So be careful with that. Keep that in mind for any trades you have going today. Tomorrow's FOMC. It's 11 a.m. That's West Coast time. So what was it? 2 p.m. 2:30 p.m. East Coast. Or I know the West Coast time. Anyways, the expectation for tomorrow is that rates will stay exactly where they are. So 97.9% chance rates remain unchanged. 2% chance that they do change. That's almost nothing. So probably no change whatsoever. We may see a change in tone. They may get more dovish or more hawkish, depending on where they want the market to go. As long as we're seeing inflation staying low and unemployment reaching their targets, we shouldn't see too hawkish of a Fed. But we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm kind of just waiting to see to enter into anything more interesting that I'm not holding, for the next year. And then let's take a look at March. March really hasn't changed. It's still a little worse than a coin flip that we'll see a rate cut in March. And then May, once May comes around, we're really expecting to see at least one cut, maybe two by then. And that's really what's going on here. And now let's take a look at Marathon Digital. You can see Marathon Digital, we are still in that cup and handle formation. We are, even though we are up this morning, we are in that channel, in that range to where the handle could still continue to form downward. We're just in the upper half of that channel for now. You can see we came out of that squeeze and just started coming down. Now we're getting a little bit of buying, which is going to be this channel here. If we break out of it, we get right here. Whoops, right about right there. If we break out of that channel to the downside, we'll see ourselves move further and start forming that handle. That's really what I'm wanting to see right now. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, I really want to see that handle start to form, come down to about 17, maybe a little bit less, maybe even 1750, and then start curling back up again, or violently move up again to really confirm that candle, that handle, and complete the formation and take us up into the 20s again. Let's take a look at some of our other favorites here while we're here. We've got Bit Digital. That took a long time. Bit Digital. This one's actually getting out of that. It's still within range. Like this is still like a controlled buying right here, controlled buying algorithm right here. You can see here, I'll draw it. That's still very controlled buying right here. It's very tight, very controlled looking. This could easily collapse down and come down into the moving averages down here at the 273 range, which would give us a handle. So keeping an eye on that. Of course, it could just take off, run to the moon. Let's take a look at Bit Farms real quick. Again, same sort of thing is going on. We're very controlled since Friday, just kind of slowly buying up, trying to decide which direction it wants to go, um, getting away from some of the moving averages. Let's take a look at the daily. How far are we off the 5? That's really taking a long time to load. The 5 is all the way down here at 224, so we're pretty far off the 5. That's usually the baseline is the 5. That's the price that or that's the area price really wants to move to, which would give us a nice little handle if it did. You can see all three of these converging, so we're probably going to see Bit Farms come down a little bit when we've got all three moving averages here just converging in this space. Where's the 200? 200 is all the way down here at 150. I don't know if we'll touch that, but I'm pretty sure we'll touch all of these down here somewhere around 229-ish. What about Clean Spark? Clean Spark, I have so many lines on Clean Spark. I should clean this thing up. Let me get rid of at least that. All right, one gone. So Clean Spark, it's looking a little more bullish. We're holding up here. This is on the daily, actually. What am I doing? This is the daily. Uh, we're colliding with the 50 on the daily, and we could see ourselves come down to where the 20, or the 15, excuse me. I keep calling it the 20. The 15 and the 5, they're about to converge down here at 796. And we are colliding with the 50, so there is a good chance that resistance will make us come down and start to form that handle I've been talking about on Clean Spark. Let's look at the 2-hour chart, see what that looks like. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm wanting to see. Big reversal candles coming down, looking like that. That's pretty good. All right. So that's the update today. We just had the Treasury borrowed less money, so that got risk on assets all excited. The Fed is tomorrow, the Fed meeting. That is another reason we went up, because there was lower volume yesterday leading up to, and probably will be lower volume today leading into the FOMC meeting. The big players are hands off right into the meeting until they get clear direction from the Fed as to what is going to occur going forward. So we are seeing more easily manipulated prices going into that meeting with that lower volume, which we can see. Let me turn on volume, daily volume. Yeah, you can see how volume's been decreasing since Friday on Bitcoin. For about, let's see, Mara, because it's the biggest market cap. Volume, not on the 2-hour, but on the 1 day. Volume was, yeah, the volume's been actually increasing on Mara for a few days. That's interesting. We were coming down, down, down to last Wednesday, and then we started building up again. Let's see where today falls. And then we can look at the SPY and see how that was. Yeah, volume on the SPY has been dropping since the 19th of January. I mean, honestly, we're really looking at it. If we're really looking for a drop, it's been dropping since the whole month of January. The volume's been dropping while price has been going up. So that's a divergence right there to watch out for on the SPY. But you can see, yeah, we're getting lower volume into the meeting. After tomorrow, we should see some volumes start to increase again as we have a clearer direction from the Fed in terms of what they're to expect over the next month or so from them and the actions they plan to take. And that's also going to have a huge effect on TMF. This one is the bonds, the treasury bonds. This is really going to be affected in a big way by what the Fed does. And you can see they're also doing a very similar pattern to the Bitcoin miners with that the big run up and then that big deep cut down and that hook right here, which we'll probably see a retest down here in the 55s and then launch off of maybe, or we'll see what the Fed says, and maybe the Fed will send us running up into the 200-day moving average up here at 63. That would be pretty exciting. And the volumes on this have been just dropping since mid-January as we lead up into this meeting here. Um, this one is super sensitive to whatever the Fed says and how they sound going forward. So with that said, that is the update. With that said, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.